was talking with a couple of friends about how do we characterize this current moment as it relates to psychedelics, and this notion of the third wave of psychedelics came up. And so this notion of the third wave of psychedelics suggests we've been here before in some ways, meaning that we as a human species have had a relationship with these entheogenic plants for thousands of years. That's the first wave of psychedelics, the ancient and indigenous use of psychedelic substances. Then we get to the second wave, and I characterize the second wave as the reintroduction of psychedelic substances into the consciousness of Western civilization in particular. You know, we have thousands of clinical papers published on the efficacy of LSD, and as many of your listeners are aware, the second wave of psychedelics failed not necessarily because of a lack of clinical evidence about their efficacy, but because we never figured out how to create sort of a container for these states of ecstasy at a cultural level. And so my perspective on this third wave of psychedelics is that its success will depend not so much on proving clinical efficacy, although this is helpful for those with PTSD, depression, and addiction, but more so how do we create spaces for the ecstatic, for peak experiences, for awe, for mystery, for oneness in our everyday lives, right? In our spiritual lives, in our sort of cultural fabric, if you will.